Hello, children. Yes, the title's real. We're doing lesbian history today. So a couple weeks ago, I got a commenter who thought I was homophobic because I said using atai as a pronoun is gay. And to prove that I'm not, because you know your boy's an ally, we're going to be talking about Japanese lesbians from all over history. Yay! Two things you should know before we get into the video. Although gay history is well recorded in Japan, lesbian history is not, so there's a lot of things we just have to assume. And two, we'll be talking about sex today, yo. So if you're not at an appropriate age, please go away. But like the video first. God, this video is gonna get me banned. So before we get into actual history, let's talk about Japanese mythology. So according to the Nihon Shoki, a Shintoist scripture, the Shinto priests Shino no Hafuri and Amano no Hafuri were servants of Amaterasu, and also a gay couple who invented the idea of homosexuality. After Shino no Hafuri's death, Amano no Hafuri killed himself in a Romeo and Juliet situation, and they got buried together in the same grave. But apparently them being together stopped the sun from shining in that area, so they got separated, 5 feet apart because they are gay. Or God just didn't like Shinto priests being in the same grave. I don't know. It's up to you if you think God's homophobic. From here, homosexuality started to exist in society, even being kept in records, especially in the Heian period. The difference is that while there's a shit ton of information on gay relationships, there's nearly zero about lesbian relationships because A, lesbians, and more broadly, women were not relevant enough in society to be talked about, and B, lesbianism was discouraged while gay stuff was not. And that's why there's so much information on gay men shit. Look on Wikipedia, there's art forms when it comes to gay sex. Now, although we really can't name a famous lesbian around this time, we know lesbians did exist because of stories like Wagami ni Tadoru Himegimi. It's an intricate and complex story about the life of a princess from birth to death. And by like novel 6, she had a shit ton of lesbian sex and lesbian orgies with other women in the palace. There's also rape, incest, and politics within the 8 novels, by the way. Very family-friendly stuff. This is a very interesting story. What's it called again? The Aristocrats. Okay, now we're in the Sengoku Jidai already. A manly time for men to rule and conquer warring states. There's no way there were significant lesbians around this time, right? Well, sit down. I'm about to talk about conspiracy theories now. I'm about to blow some minds. So children, how many generals can you name during this era? Well, there's Oda Nobunaga, Akechi Mitsuhide, Toyotomi Hideyoshi. There's hundreds, including one who ruled over modern-day Niigata, Uesugi Kenshin. Now, did you know there is a theory that Uesugi Kenshin was a woman? Look it up. It's called female Uesugi Kenshin theory. That's why whenever he shows up in video games, he's usually represented as a woman. So according to the theories, Uesugi Kenshin was really interested in feminine stuff like female poetry and female calligraphy. His portrait made in this period is wildly more feminine than the Edo period portrait, and a Spanish person who made a report on Uesugi Kenshin referred to him as Tia, an aunt. There's also some who say he died of uterine cancer, but that one you really have to squint at it. Anyways, he died without making kids, and we know that he liked women. That is very, very rare for someone in his position, especially as a daimyo. That's why I think that there's a chance that he might not only be a woman, but also a lesbian. Maybe. In the Edo period, homosexuality still continued on without much problems. In fact, it kind of thrived in this era. Samurai still did gay shit, monks still did gay shit, male prostitutes and clients who pay for the male prostitutes, and more. And we know lesbians still had mad pussy, as seen here in this ancient form of Japanese pornography. Now, I can't show it to you because it might get my channel banned, but one thing I need to tell you is that there's a Tengu mask being used somewhere. And from the look of her face and the puddle of human sin below her, it's working. What else can I say? There's also this, and this, just adding to the fact that it must have been fucking awesome to be a queer at this period. I should also probably talk about the Ooku and the Yoshiwara Yukaku, where at the very least had accounts of lesbians existing. And fucking. Now we're in the Meiji period, where, as with westernization, try to move away from all that LGBT stuff, which, yeah, kinda sucks. They at first banned gay stuff like sodomy, but the samurai still continued with the gay pedophilia shit because it's tied to samurai culture. But after the Russo-Japanese War, they kind of realized, holy shit, this is fucked up on so many levels. And so it faded away like almost immediately. In 1910, Japan pathologized lesbianism, which might have led to even more pro-Marxist feminist lesbian ideals. From this point is what I like to call the Great Lesbian Explosion, because here on out there are hundreds of openly lesbian poets and forms of lesbian relationships start to fully bloom. If I were to talk about one, I should maybe mention Yoshia Nobuko, arguably the most influential lesbian poet in Japan, and also a very famous feminist. Here's a small list of her works, most of them involving either platonic relationships with women or just lesbian relationships with women. Others I should mention are Yuasa Yoshiko, a lesbian feminist proletariat liberal Russian translator, Miyamoto Yuriko. She's bisexual, I think. I just thought it would be cool to mention her. And I think the one with the most interesting story is this person, Otake Beniyoshi. I stole her entire biography from Wikipedia, so links to her in the description. So, 1893, she was born in Osaka and was brought up to be feminine, right? But growing up, she would often sneak out to the library to read out various ideologies and philosophies. Some influences include Dostoevsky, Schopenhauer, the Buddha, Da Vinci, and Hiratsuka Raicho. Remember her for a sec, she'll be important later. In 1911, she became a fan of Seitosha, or Bluestalking, a literary magazine founded by Hiratsuka that promoted ideas like feminism and equal rights. She became a member, but after like a year of her joining, she became controversial because 1. The 5-color sake incident, where she wrote a fictional story about a 5-liquor cocktail she got excited about, randomly inserted Hiratsuka drinking it with a man, and then the news picked it up thinking it was real. 2. The Yoshiwara incident, where after she led some members to interview an oiran, she bragged about the experience, getting the story caught on news, and then people stoned Hiratsuka's house because people thought the group hired prostitutes to party. And 3. She had a lesbian affair with Hiratsuka. In 1912, she was pressured to leave the society, getting her very depressed, of course. While she was at the hospital for self-harm while dealing with tuberculosis, Hiratsuka visited her in the hospital because they were still a couple, but then she met Okumura Hiroshi, and they got married, even though Otake's relationship technically never ended. And then 2 years later, Otake met Tomimoto Kenkichi, a famous ceramic artist, and they got married and had a family. One of the kids named after Bluestalking Manifesto, by the way. Yeah, they separated because she fucking hated being a housewife. And then a couple of years later, they divorced. One of the reasons is because she had lesbian tendencies. And the rest of her life, she spent protesting the patriarchy and doing progressive activism. Pretty cool story. So yeah, just remember these era had a lot of progressivism and a lot of open lesbians. And today, homosexuality is slowly opening up. Young people don't really care, and other Asian countries are slowly decriminalizing it. So who knows, maybe Japan will soon fully open up. Like, our main export is fucking yaoi. I say 10 years max. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and smash that motherfucking bell icon for more Japanese/LGBT content. If this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll do the letter T next. How about that? Thanks for watching. Let's get this bread. Now, I've got a guy and his name is Dooley. He's my guy and I love him truly. He's not good looking, heaven knows, but I'm wild about his crazy clothes. He wears tan shoes with pink shoelaces, polka dot vest, and man, oh man, he wears tan shoes with pink shoelaces and a big Panama with a purple hat band.